Hello everyone and welcome to Finish the Race VL, aka Victory Lap. My name is Liz, the host of this channel, and today's video will be my review on a beautiful sister by the name of Andrea Martin, who have a YouTube channel called Anja Afreeca, who passed recently on February 9th, 2024. Before Anja's passing, I had caught wind of her channel by watching an interview she did on Web Nation Africa. After watching the interview, I was deeply captivated by her spiritual presence, and I wanted to know more about her.
It said someone is trying to communicate with you. And I said, okay, maybe there's a message I'm supposed to have. This could be important. And I would hate to think that I'm disrespecting my ancestors. So I said, whoever this is, finally, when it happened again, I kept my eyes closed and I stayed calm. And I said, whoever this is, please walk in the light. Be of the Creator's hand. And we know we have bad ancestors. So I'm like, please be a good ancestor reaching out, you know? So once I did that, I started to have dreams. And I never had dreams prior to that.
Really?
Oh, yes. I told you my dad passed when I was before I was 2 years old. So
I subscribed to her channel and discovered a viral video she titled, Diasporans Be Aware, Stalking in the Gambia will be supported by the community. But within a week or so after discovering her YouTube channel, I had caught wind of her passing by various YouTubers who were reporting about Black women being deleted in the Gambia. One of the YouTubers were Go Black to Africa, who was reviewing the same viral video I was interested in watching. And upon listening to his initial remarks about Andrea and other Black women being deleted in the Gambia, I was absolutely appalled by his insensitivity towards Black women, especially at a time when our sisters are losing their lives rapidly by the hands of Black men. I had to quickly stop watching his distasteful stereotype manosphere red pill venom was spewing about Black women. So I decided to take the time to watch Anja's Africa video without anyone's biased, chauvinistic opinions about Black single women traveling alone to various countries in Africa. And boy, was I in for a spiritual treat. I am absolutely thankful I took the time to watch and learn from such an incredible, phenomenal woman who was a foot soldier for the Most High. Anja Afreeca carried out such a difficult assignment and mission to warn single women or anyone who have an ear to hear and learn from the spiritual lessons and attacks she had endured that led up to her demise. I thoroughly took notes throughout her entire video to respectfully share my personal thoughts on what I had learned spiritually from Anja, to help equip not only myself, because I am a female solo traveler, but also for those who may be experiencing or will be experiencing similar spiritual attacks if you are a chosen one. I pray and hope to honor her in such a way that her death will not be in vain, but a lesson for all men and women to learn from with an open heart and spiritual mind. Anja's video was a lot to spiritually unpack. Her video was 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 10 seconds long. And because of that, I'm going to break down her video into a 4-part series or segment, mainly focusing on the critical spiritual information she had shared. Part 1 will be on what to expect when you arrive to the Gambia. Part 2 would be about how to protect yourself and safety tips for solo travelers. Part 3 will be on how to recognize monitoring and energy harvesting spirits. Part 4 would be how to recognize when the Holy Spirit is guiding you to protect you from evil spirits. So before we begin, let's learn a little bit about who was Anja Afreeca. Who was Anja Afreeca, which means Anja, a free spirit? Anja Afreeca was born under the birth name of Andrea Martin. Andrea was born on August 3rd, 1967, and transitioned to the afterlife at the age of 56 years young on February 9th, 2024. Andrea was laid to rest on February 23rd, 2024 at 10:30 a.m. located in Brusubi Christian Cemetery in the Gambia. Andrea left behind her only child and son, Amon Miles Thomas, who is 21 years of age, born on November 15, 2002, and her brother, Robert Martin. Andrea Martin was born in Brooklyn, New York, but her dad's side of the family is from Barbados, and her mother's side of the family is from a Gullah subgroup of people located in the Low Country region in South Carolina. Anja told a quick story about the beginning of her life, about the traumatic event that took place at birth. Her grandfather on her dad's side of the family was entangled in witchcraft, and he performed sacrifices and rituals for wealth. He had sacrificed his firstborn child and tried to sacrifice his firstborn grandchild, which was Andrea. Andrea was a child sacrifice survivor.
A girl.
It was definitely not her time to go before she had made her mark and legacy here on this earth. Andrea said her dad's side of the family had cursed her since she came out from her mother's womb. They knew that she was spiritually gifted and that the power of God was upon her life, and they continuously attacked her for years and tried to annihilate her spiritual gifts and calling from God.
What's so deep about it is, if y'all have been following me on Facebook and other places, you know I did a video where I talked about being a child from a firstborn ritual, right? My paternal grandfather, who is from Barbados, came to New York City and somehow got connected with a men's group, which I'm going to presume are the Freemasons, one of these types of groups. They get him connected with the Episcopalian Church, and they promise them wealth and legacy if they give them their firstborn for satanic rituals. And that's what my grandfather did.
Andrea stated she had the gift of being a seer. For educational purposes, a seer and watcher reveals the plans and activities and schemes of the devil and his agents operating in people, for y'all's children to unite in prayer and in fasting with other believers to spiritually fight against the evil works and evil intentions. For example, Andrea was able to help a young lady who was being targeted for sex trafficking. She had taken notice of a man who was trying to solicit a young lady, and she warned her to stand clear from this man because he was going to ambush her. Andrea wholeheartedly believed her calling was to help children in the Gambia who were being sacrificed and sexually trafficked.
As when I tell you, children are still being sacrificed here. They are still doing demonic sex rituals with these babies.
She wanted to expose sex offenders in the Gambia and expose Westerners who are coming to the Gambia in the disguise of churches giving donations to poor families. Andrea, past trauma and experiences since birth has given her an innate spiritual insight on seeing the telltale signs of abuse and spiritual attacks on young children. Andrea also had the abilities to examine people's eyes, skin, hands, and feet to pinpoint their pain and illness.
But there is a subculture that we are not aware of. And the community know what's going on, but everybody just kind of moved like, I don't want no problems. I had a man come into the clinic. He was in a wheelchair. And I looked at him and I said, do you mind if I lift your pants leg? For me, I'm able to look in people's eyes, at their skin, their hands, and their feet. But for him, he had his feet covered. I said, do you mind if I look at your leg? So I had him lift his pants leg up to his knees. And I could see everywhere where this marabou that somebody put on him had paralyzed him and stopped him from moving. And every place I pointed to is where he told me his pain was. Excuse me. And I was able to see it. And I said to him, if you know it's marabou, why you don't come and you didn't let nobody help you? 14 years, this man been in a wheelchair. He's scared to fight back. People are scared. They are scared if they fight back, the battle would be even worse. Or they are convinced, because it's part of the magic, that it's hopeless for them to fight back, but they have to accept it. See, that is the other thing about this magic. People will send chaos magic to you. You'll be wondering why you procrastinating, why you eating things you don't want to eat, why you kind of isolating, why you doing this. Like, it's not you, it's a spirit. It's a spirit. But we don't know that because we don't really deal with that. And when you're in the West, everything is so busy that you're not breaking nothing down to a spirit. You want to give it a name. You want to call it anxiety, right? We want to call it stress. It's a spirit. It's the spirit of stress. It's the spirit of anxiety. It's the spirit of disease. That's what it is. And so when we know that, we know how to deal with it differently and try to push through it, because you're like, this is not my energy. Just keep it in mind. If it's not good, it's not God, period.
Andrea received her bachelor's and doctorate degrees and later graduated from law school. She briefly practiced law until she realized she hated being an attorney. On her first job as an attorney, she had to represent juveniles who were being trialed as an adult. It was heart-wrenching for her because she discovered she was an empath and realized it was certain jobs she did not want to do because of the attachment she had for her people. Her previous work experience was an outpatient therapist. She managed group homes and homeless shelters. She was a fitness instructor, a model. She worked in the social service as a caseworker and case manager and advocate. She owned an art gallery and trained in African dance and drum. She was an artist, a poet, a real estate investor who loved to renovate and flip homes. She loved to sing, cook, and bake. She was a serial entrepreneur and a content creator. Her son encouraged her to start a YouTube channel because of all the knowledge she possessed. She believed people are multi-talented and you cannot master one thing when you are a jack of many trades. Andrea was into astrology. She believed it is important for people to study their birth charts and to know who you really are in your destiny. I personally don't agree with that because I believe what the Lord said, that He will lead you and protect you and guide you throughout your life. So Andrea did not subscribe to any religion. She believed you do not have to be in a religion to have your faith in God. I do agree with that. Andrea read both the Quran and the Bible, and she did believe there is a heaven and hell. Lastly, she loved the Gambia and wanted to bring awareness to diasporans about the good and bad challenges you may encounter while living in the Gambia, especially for single women who will be traveling alone to the Gambia. Even though Andrea was planning to come back home to the U.S., she adamantly said to her viewers she needed to complete her assignment in the Gambia first before going back to the U.S. She wanted everyone to be blessed and to be blissful and to connect with other good people who have boots already on the ground and have already established themselves before coming to any countries in Africa. Andrea said genuinely she loves people but hate their evil ways. So let's dive into the fourth segment of her video review titled Diasporans Be Aware, Stalking in the Gambia Will Be Supported by the Community. Part 1, What to Expect When You Arrive to the Gambia. The following tips and advice can be applied for any single woman or man traveling alone to foreign countries. Andrea provided information about dating and marriage scams. Before you arrive or set foot off the plane, there will be men who are a part of an organized crime to entrap lonely and gullible single women of all ages. They have already scouted out who will be arriving alone to the Gambia. They will pay airport employees for information on who will be arriving and will be secretly waiting for you and may possibly follow you to know where you will be residing. They may even go to the extent with partnering with other locals who are renting out their properties to foreigners on Airbnb or other platforms to scout out single women. These men and women are romance scammers who work together as con artists. Their intentions are to establish a relationship as quickly as possible to endear themselves to their potential victim and gain trust. They prey on vulnerable, gullible, lonely women and men for money. Men usually do not report these romance scam crimes on social media, especially if they have been deleted. But there are selected few who are bold enough to share their experience, like this gentleman.
And this is something that you guys need to know. A lot of these sisters that come from, not all of them, but a lot of them that come from the village, they do this marabou shit, you know? They really do. If you don't know what marabou is, it's like witchcraft, voodoo kind of shit, right? So, I mean, over here in Gambia, this shit is big. I mean, you can't watch television without a marabou commercial. Come and see them. They'll get what you want done, you know? But yeah, they're very big here, using marabou, what we call voodoo. So, but the thing is, with this lady, you know, I did notice that she had some marabou shit going on around her doorway where in the boys' quarter. And so I decided, you know what? I want this chick out of here, right? So she told me, she says, I'm not going anywhere. She says, if I go, you're going to have to leave, sell this house and go back to America. That's what she told me. She says, if I can't stay here, you can't stay here either. So, you guys, not all the people here, but some of these people here is just pure wicked and evil, you know?
Another great tip that I heard from another YouTuber is cab drivers will remember your address when dropping you off at home. It is best to not be dropped off at or near your home where they may possibly follow your whereabouts. It's best to be dropped off 3 to 4 blocks away and wait until the cab driver has completely driven away from being able to see you before walking home. I strongly advise that it is extremely dangerous to visit or relocate to any countries in Africa or anywhere if you are struggling with the following: loneliness, insecurity, gullible, self-hate, mental illness, passive or not aggressive behavior, experiencing financial hardship, if you are promiscuous, healing from past trauma, unable to make wise decisions, or if you're lacking street smart. The above makes you an easy prey for evil spirits to target your vulnerabilities. Demons who are operating in people already know your weaknesses and will use your weakness to their advantage. If it's too good to be true, then it is a red flag. Say no thank you and keep it moving. Sometimes you may have to get aggressive to make your point. Andrea also mentioned a woman by the name of Audrey Davis, who was also a YouTuber called So Her Sister. She died at the age of 54 years old, allegedly by the hands of her Gambian husband who poisoned her food. Andrea said Audrey visited her in her dream to expose to her how her husband deleted her by giving her a plate of food. Allegedly, her Gambian husband took her land and her home she had purchased when she repatriated to the Gambia, and the possessions she had brought over from the U.S. in shipping containers. Another great tip that Andrea provided was warning about not eating frequently at the same restaurant to avoid possible stalkers, keeping tabs on your daily or weekly or monthly routine. Some people will pay local vendors or restaurant workers to poison your food.
That try to get you to drink or eat from them. Let me tell you, I don't eat from places no more. Ever since I realized that this individual was stalking me, I said, you know what? I don't see him, but I know he is watching me. And sure enough, what he was doing was hiring the people that are working around me. There's 3 houses being constructed around me. He's hiring the construction workers and having them watch me and report when I am leaving, when I'm coming back. When I would go to walk in the woods, I would feel like someone is following me. Sure enough, he's telling these people when I go on the beach that own the restaurants, look and see where she's going. Look and see who she's talking to. Mind you, I'm always alone. So that's probably not the best thing either. I know everybody, but I move by myself. So this is more than somebody, you will have people latch onto you and they will harvest energy from you, right? They will be pulling your energy and you don't even know this is possible. But the reason why I came on to tell y'all this today is because this situation of me being stalked is not new. This happens to a lot of women here, but I don't think they realize the intricacies of it. They will get the whole community involved. They will tell the local restaurant, yo, when she come, let me know what days she come and what she order. Because when I'm ready to get rid of her, I'm going to slide it to you. I'm going to hit you off with a couple of Delasi and we're going to take care of that problem. And they will be down, the whole community, just like that. Like you was never nice to them, like you was never a good person. You will always be a foreigner. This is the part we don't get. Many of us come here and we are like, oh, we just want to integrate. I don't want to be called a two-bob. I'm African. I'm this. Sisterhood is sisterhood. Brotherhood is brotherhood. You African or indigenous American, no matter where you are in the world, we are one nation, no matter where we are located. Okay? So you got to come here with your eyes open.
Andrea said, anything you touch, drink, or eat, pray to God to remove or to reveal if anything may have been tampered with the food that you're about to eat or drink. Andrea shared a personal experience about a Gambian man whom she was briefly acquainted with, but was in the process of breaking off their friendship because she saw in the spirit that this man was a monitoring spirit and a foot soldier for the devil. She described this man when she first met him to be a nice-looking, well-dressed, smooth talker. But eventually she saw in the spirit that this man had many children scattered all over the place. He had many different relationships with random women, and he was having same-sex orgies, and he was a part of some type of demonic cult. The second warning in the Gambia, or what to expect in the Gambia, is theft. The Gambia is one of the poorest countries in the world, and desperation can lead people to do desperate things by deleting people for money, their valuables, their home, and land. Petty theft is also a huge problem, especially targeted amongst women for their cell phone, purse snatching, or even hired workers that may steal from you from your home. You must constantly look out for these type of culprits because they will smile in your face with the smiling coast of Gambia smile while plotting to secretly ambush you. The Gambia and other African countries can be a lawless society with cultural laws you must learn. Some locals have this hidden disdain for foreigners. Their jealousy for Westerners' privileges overtake their moral character to immoral behaviors. Please stay tuned for part 2. We will discuss on how to protect yourself and safety tips for solo travelers.